Lewis was playing in his first high school lacrosse game. Early in the second quarter, he stopped the ball, not with his stick, but with his chest. The ball dropped in front of Lewis. He took a few steps and he collapsed. John will say he heard Lewis taking a deep, deliberate breath, and unknowingly that was agonal breathing. The trainer said, I don't feel a pulse. They decided that they needed to do CPR, so they took off his helmet. EMS did not arrive for 15 minutes. They transported him, and, he died. I'm sure he died on the field because it was so long, and by the time we got to the hospital and they called us in, he had passed. It was a clear case of Commotio Cordis, according to Dr. Link, who had heard Lewis's story, and he said, he goes, had a defibrillator been on the field, an AED been on the field, he would be alive, and coaches can have AEDs. 2 years ago, we passed legislation here in New York requiring youth athletic organizations to carry AEDs at games and practices and have all their coaches trained. We knew that when Lewis passed that defibrillators were the quickest thing that we could do, because we were told and we understood that the chest protector was not going to happen overnight. When I talk about it now, I always say, everybody I feel like in the world knows who Damar Hamlin is. We can look at that as the case of Commotio Cordis. It really put it on the map.
Medics were by Hamlin's side just within seconds, but overall survival odds for cardiac arrest outside of a hospital setting are not very good.
Most cases, this is fatal. The one thing that might have saved his life, as you mentioned, CPR and AEDs, they were right there, they were administered immediately.
To think it's not going to happen to your child is really kind of poor thinking, because if it could happen to my child, it could happen to your child.
It was, the boy from Long Island at UMass the year before Lewis, and when that happened, I said to Karen, I played lacrosse my whole life. This just doesn't happen. Something's not right here. I said he must have had a pre-existing condition or something. Maybe he was on drugs, God forbid, or some steroids or some medication. Here we are a year later, was in the same boat, and like Karen said before, you think, well, that's unfortunate. I feel so bad for the Acomporas. What a tragedy. But that's not going to happen to my kid.
Most communities are volunteer, not paid EMS. By the time they get everybody on the road, precious time has passed, and anybody in the EMS community will tell you they're not saving someone from sudden cardiac arrest. It's the bystander starting CPR and having an AED close by. They can't save a person in sudden cardiac arrest. They can't get there in time. Like a lot of these, it's a hardship for them to have an AED. Yeah. So I wanted, what an idea, right? Yeah. Have it there for everyone, and it'll be there for the practices. Takes out human error, that the coaches are going to forget the AED. A league doesn't have to buy 8 AEDs. Right. They're going to buy one, and it's going to be right here. All schools should have those AEDs outside in a safe station. We were grateful to meet the McLaughlin family. They were so generous to our foundation, and when they lost their beloved Doug here, they donated funds to the foundation, and we felt really compelled that safe stations should be placed in his memory. So we have 2 in the community of East Hampton, and we've placed one in the 3 Village community. With every minute that passes and something like an AED and CPR are not used, your chance of survival drops by 10%.
These devices really do save lives. It's amazing. We have them in all our police cars, we have them in all our public buildings, and the police have been very successful in using these to save lives. We just had one at the high school. A young boy at the high school was saved with this. So I can't thank you enough for doing it. If we can get more of these in the village, the more people we can hopefully save. So I thank you very much.
Those of us in the EMS world, we know how important these are, but the general public doesn't still. And really the goal, once we've placed one, now we have access, which is amazing, but we need to make sure that everybody feels really confident to step in and use it. It's often what the public does before EMS arrives that really makes the difference between life and death. That's really the hope, is this is just a start of continuing the amazing education that it sounds like you're already doing.